Hello, welcome to the African American History Podcast. My name is Keenan Mercier.
And my name is Rajanae Johnson.
And today's subjects will be the discussion of Charles Kinsey Steele's impact in Tallahassee and the bus boycotts of 1956.
We will also be discussing the history behind the Charles Kinsey Steele Bus Plaza located in Tallahassee, Florida. This bus plaza was the site of the arrest of two students who attended FAMU for sitting in the whites-only section. It was named after Reverend Charles Kinsey Steele, who organized the bus boycott after this incident.
The C.K. Steele Bus Plaza is located downtown Tallahassee on 111th West Tennessee Street, bordered by Duval, Adams, Call, and Tennessee Street. The bus plaza is currently operated by city-owned Star Metro and has 24 boarding gates with 15 different routes around the metropolitan city. The bus terminal was built in 1983 and named after Reverend Charles Kinsey Steele and features a statue and plaque commemorating Rosa Parks and Steele's.
Charles Kinsey Steele was born on February 17, 1914 in Bluefield, Virginia. In 1935, he was ordained as a Baptist minister. Steele attended Morehouse College in 1938, where he earned his B.A. He served as a minister in several churches in Montgomery, Alabama, and Augusta, Georgia. He then moved to Tallahassee, Florida in 1952, where he served as a minister at the Bethel Baptist Church until his death. During this time, Steele organized a bus boycott in 1956 after the arrest of two females that attended Florida A&M University, Wilhelmina Jakes and Carrie Patterson, who sat in the whites-only section of a bus. He took after the famous Montgomery, Alabama bus boycott and led the act in Tallahassee to be nonviolent. The bus service in Tallahassee was integrated in 2 years due to the success of this boycott. Steele also aimed to integrate schools, restaurants, and public places in Tallahassee. C.K. Steele helped organize the Southern Christian Leadership Conference with Martin Luther King Jr. in 1957 and served as its vice president. When King was incarcerated in 1962, Steele led demonstrations in Albany, Georgia. He also participated in national civil rights protests such as the March in Selma, Alabama. In 1978, he announced that he planned to implement an education program at the Bethel Baptist Church to impact economic deprivation.
Wilhelmina Jakes and Carrie Patterson refused to move to the colored-only space of the bus after placing themselves in white seats. The bus driver pulled into a gas station and police arrested the two with charges of behavior that will incite a riot. As the semester came to an end, students left for the summer and the strength of the boycott was threatened. However, dozens of black pastors and businessmen, including Reverend C.K. Steele, formed the Inner City Council to aid the black community and to maintain the status of the boycott.
In the 60s, where they had most of the boycott around, and so I want to say 37, 38, up until we got a whole lot, but Reverend Steele had this started, where the buses comes in, people over the bus. Well, back in the day, the old buses.
A compromise was made after Tallahassee City Commission met and arranged a deal with 15 friendly black leaders, including the famous FAMU football coach Jake Gaither. Once the city transit reduced the white seating spaces and hired on black drivers for the black communities, FAMU, and the Frenchtown routes. The first three black drivers hired were Seth Gaines, David Moore, and Edgar Richardson.
So when all black drivers started coming in, that's when most of them started fading away. But on the job site, it was still the same. So you can't hide it because we're here. But the bus system, and from Steele up until now, is better than what it was. When I said better than what it was, we have more freedom now.
The ICC organized a carpool system to provide transportation for African Americans while boycotting the bus system. The city quickly responded by arresting those involved with the carpool system. On October 21st, the fifth month of the boycott, Tallahassee Judge John A. Rudd charged 22 members of the ICC with operating a legal transportation system without a franchise from the city. The heroic figures of the ICC find collectively over $11,000. That's $500 each, including Reverend C.K. Steele himself. They traveled extensively to fundraise for their fines and legal fees. In December 1956, the Browder versus Gale case that originated during the Montgomery bus boycotts, where the Supreme Court ruled Alabama's segregated busing laws as unconstitutional and ordered the state of Alabama to desegregate the public bus system. The ICC were eager to test if the new Supreme Court rulings were enforced in Florida. Prominent leaders of the ICC sat in seats reserved for white-onlys. Their acts of bravery were stopped once armed whites confronted them and threatened them and all integrationists. And tension grew stronger from both sides. Governor Leroy Collins, the first Florida governor to make a stand against racism, suspended all bus services on January 1st, 1957. 1 week later, the city of Tallahassee repealed the segregated seating ordinance and enacted an assigned seating ordinance to maintain public maximum health and safety. Basically a way to keep the seats segregated but light enough to not violate the rulings of the Supreme Court. The protests continued, and the ICC tried new methods which led to arrests and fines. But by the summer of 1957, the city bus seats were completely integrated and there were black drivers. Needless to say, the Tallahassee bus boycotts was successful, with 7 months of burning perseverance and sacrifice.
I mean, Tallahassee, man, it changed a whole lot, because I was born in the 60s, and I know what the 60s and the 70s, but I learned more like in 1820s, because my great-grandmother, grandfather, and all, he's on the bus. Most all of my folks and everybody else was born and raised here. People ride bus because of the privilege for them to get around Tallahassee, whatever they need to do. We're getting to the point now that instead of waiting 30 minutes or 45 minutes, we're cutting it down. At least we can get at least about 20 minutes, and there's a bus running every 20 minutes. Back in the days, when, like I said, when I started, it was right at 40 minutes, 20 minutes out and 20 minutes back. So that's what they're trying to get now. And then they had the shuttle bus with, white people over in Tallahassee. That's why I said y'all have to ride and see what Tallahassee is all about.
The slogan from the bus boycott movement was, "I would rather walk in dignity than ride in humiliation." And that quote is credited to Reverend C.K. Steele. It's believed that the Tallahassee bus boycott was inspired by the first large-scale bus boycott in 1953 in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, which was led by Reverend T.J. Jemison, who's a friend of Steele's, and also inspired by the famous 1955 bus boycott in Montgomery, Alabama, involving Rosa Parks. The same month of the Tallahassee bus boycott, the U.S. Methodist Church disallows segregation. Also, in January during the bus boycott, the Southern Christian Leadership Conference was founded with the aid of C.K. Steele. The bus boycotts in other major cities like Atlanta, Miami, and Tampa were all presumably inspired by the Tallahassee bus boycott.